In a world where stories are the essence of life, what if you could be part of creating the next great tale? Introducing Storybook, a community where your imagination comes to life. A place where writers, readers, and dreamers unite to create something extraordinary. With Storybook, your ideas, your stories, and your characters are more than just thoughts. They become part of a larger narrative. Less than 1 billion Storybook tokens are powered by the Ton blockchain. By holding book tokens, you gain the power to pitch ideas, give input, and even become a character in the stories you help create. Submit your stories, collaborate with other talented writers, and see your work come to life. Storybook isn't just about storytelling. It's about making your mark in a community that values creativity and innovation. From anthologies to graphic novels, from films to community-driven magazines, Storybook is where your ideas take flight and where your voice is heard. Become part of a movement where your creativity shapes the future of storytelling. Welcome to Storybook, a community where stories come to life.
This is Storybook Radio.
Chapter 30. 15 hours before the law of isolation takes effect, families begin to arrive at the Odyssey in packs. The air is heavy with tension as thought enforcers descend in waves, systematically assigning housing to civilians in the lobby of the Odyssey. Lines stretch endlessly into the turnstiles under the duress of chariots casting heat. The families' faces are etched with exhaustion, resignation, and fear, their eyes darting nervously to the armored figures who stand motionless, their spiked staffs glowing faintly. Humanoid figures with yellow exoskeletons and sword-like stingers, known as task managers, move with clinical efficiency. These creatures, resembling oversized yellow jackets, are an unsettling mix of insectoid and humanoid design. They originate from mountainous hives called canyons, which are dispersed throughout the region, primarily in areas where large forests reside. With their synchronized movements, they unleash streams of searing venom from their stingers, vaporizing towering trees in seconds. Natural beauty of the wilderness disappears in destructive acids, replaced by leveled ground ready for construction. New houses rise almost immediately, sterile and identical structures emerging from the scorched earth like weeds in a field. The houses are built downhill, their white walls and sharp edges devoid of character. Meanwhile, the hives of the task managers hang ominously on the mountainous horizons, casting long shadows over the transformed landscape. The annihilation is total, stripping the land clean of every species of creature that once roamed the area. The Omniscient decrees such measures to ensure his humans are unthreatened by stray animals. His kingdom is to remain orderly, and for now, humans will stay in their natural form, momentarily. However, the Omniscient's ambitions extend far beyond the present. In his private visions, he foresees a day when he will no longer need human input. When that day comes, he will either destroy the entire human population and engineer noir humans in his likeness, or exile mankind to the boundaries of the universe. There, humans will be left to fend for themselves on a planet of his choosing, one that offers no quarter and no solace. Following this grand purge, the Omniscient plans to roll out his ultimate vision: the creation of the perfect breed, noir humans. These beings will possess no imagination, no will to dream, and no intellect that surpasses the Omniscient's own. They will be hundreds of times smarter than the organic human brain, their minds functioning as servers to store ideas from thought enforcers, task managers, and even buildings programmed to generate conscious thought on architectural design. Noir humans will embody his vision of perfection, flawless, obedient, and unchallenged. In one of the lines at the Odyssey, a young couple waits with their newborn child. Annie clutches her baby tightly to her chest, her trembling hands betraying the calm facade she tries to maintain. Her husband, Michael, stands beside her, his jaw set and his eyes scanning the enforcer's movements. He leans toward her, his voice low and urgent. "We have to follow the protocol," he whispers, nodding toward the enforcers. "Just do what they say. We'll get through this." Annie's gaze remains fixed on the ground. Her veins roll back into her flesh as she grips the blanket wrapped around her child. She doesn't respond, her mind racing with thoughts of escape, of resistance, of clinging to what little humanity they have left. Her heart pounds as the line inches forward, each step bringing them closer to the inevitable. When their turn comes, a towering thought enforcer extends a metallic hand toward the child. Annie recoils instinctively, pulling her baby closer. "Please," she says, her voice trembling. "We just need more time." Michael's expression hardens, panic flashing in his eyes. "Annie, stop," he pleads, his voice shaking. He places a hand on her arm, his touch gentle but firm. "We don't have a choice." "No!" Annie's voice rises, desperation breaking through her composure. She clutches her child tighter, her eyes darting wildly between Michael and the enforcer. "You can't take him. He's all we have left." The enforcer remains impassive, its hand still outstretched. The moment stretches unbearably, the hum of its staff growing louder. Michael, his face twisted with anguish, gently takes the child from Annie's arms. Her screams pierce the air as she lunges forward, reaching for her baby. A blinding flash of light engulfs her. When it fades, only a fine layer of ash remains, drifting to the ground like snow. Michael stands frozen, his arms wrapped protectively around the child, his clothes dusted with the remnants of his wife. His breath comes in shallow gasps as he stares at the space where Annie once stood, the reality of her loss sinking in. Later, Michael sits alone in his assigned home, the emptiness of the space echoing his own desolation. The walls are stark and featureless, the single window revealing nothing but the rows of identical houses stretching endlessly into the horizon. Surveillance orbs hover in the corners, their mechanical eyes tracking his every move. The weight of his losses presses down on him like a physical force. Michael whispers softly, "It's just me now." His voice cracks and his tears roll off his chin. The child stirs, in an undisclosed location, inside a clear cube chamber. Far away, Paragon watches the events unfold from the hotel balcony, his expression unreadable, and his hands clasped behind his back as he stands in the dim light of his study. He sees the line of families moving inside, their loved ones surrendered to the enforcers with mechanical efficiency. His gaze lingers on the hologram monitor. He sees Michael, sitting in his barren home, the surveillance orbs casting long shadows on the walls. A faint flicker of emotion crosses Paragon's face, a mix of anger and resolve. He turns away from the hologram, his thoughts racing. The omniscience control has reached new heights, and Paragon knows the implications extend far beyond what the world can see. He steps to a desk cluttered with schematics and notes, his movements purposeful. "The cost of this order is too high," he mutters to himself. His jaw tightens as he considers the risks ahead, but his resolve remains unshaken. Back at the Odyssey, the line of families continues to move forward, their steps slow and resigned. The thought enforcers and task managers operate with unflinching precision, their every action devoid of empathy. The hum of their equipment and the cries of the children fill the air, a haunting symphony of compliance and despair. Each family surrenders a piece of themselves, their loved ones taken into the cold, unfeeling machinery of the regime. The clock ticks toward the enforcement of the law of isolation, its impending reality casting a long shadow over the gathered masses. The air grows heavier with each passing moment, the weight of the omniscient's vision pressing down on all who remain. The world outside the Odyssey is changing, reshaped by the omniscient's hand. The trees fall, the houses rise, and the people bend to his will. Yet within the cracks of despair, a quiet resistance stirs. The clock ticks on, and the future waits, heavy with foreboding and the promise of change.